Hey there, everyone! I hope you're all doing good. Stasma here. Today we are going to talk about the MultiMod, the new module from Make Noise. I'm mostly going to show you some of the first experiments I've been doing with it. There's been already a few good videos about demoing this thing, so I'm mostly taking it from my experimental angle and trying to use it on stuff that I will use myself, such as breakbeats. I'm very happy to have a new, powerful and multi-output modulation source in my Make Noise system, as I really felt that this was one of the things that it was lacking sometimes, having one more LFO or one more envelope. And this one can really take care of a bit of everything, as it can process voltages. But it's also crazy used on audio. I wasn't expecting that at all, especially as it wasn't mentioned that much by Make Noise themselves. But anyway, let's go for this weird journey with the MultiMod. Have fun! There's already been a few videos explaining the module very well, so I will do a very brief panel overview, just so you know what we are talking about. So the main parameter is time. It's the one that is going to affect everything else. Here we have the input, so you can plug any signal here and it will then be affected by time, phase, and spread. If you don't plug anything, the module will create its own modulation source depending on the mode, the shape mode you're in. The default is the red one. We'll see all these modes during the demo, so I won't talk about it right now, but there's lots of them. And you can cycle through them via this little button. Here we have an hold function that will freeze the internal buffer. You can also do that with a gate at the CV input. We have a reset button and input. We have a tempo input, so we can clock the module. We have a clock output, so we can clock other things with the module. And we have a CV input for time. Phase is a combo knob, so it is either the control, or when you plug something here, it becomes the attenuation. Spread is the only one to have its own dedicated attenuator. And time as a panel control, and the CV you plug here is added to that panel control. It is said in the manual that these two controls can go beyond the panel limit. If you add CV, it will go even slower. And phase is the same. And there is that increment output that for now is just outputting some weird stepped CV. And it's meant to be used with the upcoming modules from the NUSS, New Universal Synthesizer System, that Make Noise are going to release further down the line. But it can still be used as a sort of pseudo-random modulation source. It's CV anyway. Even if you don't process any sources, it's very good at just being a crazy LFO. We will check that out on a filter cutoff. So I have a saw wave going into Q-Pass over here. And as you can hear, I'm in the red mode, which is rising ramp. Time can go faster, slower, and more interesting, using phase. I can have all of these to happen at different moments. So I could have them all to control different things at the same speed, but not at the same moment, which is pretty fun here on this multiple point filter cutoff. What's cool also is that as the module output a clock, you can straight away have a rhythm that is going with it, with your modulations. If you have a clock divider, tempi or whatever else, I suggest using it, especially if you can divide and multiply. For example, if I want that same sequence but faster, and if I want to reset the phase at some point, I can, for example, divide by 16. So every 16, everything goes back. Let's make it longer. So it has more time to go out of phase. Okay, and then by changing the modes, we get different shapes. Falling ramp. Triangle. Sine. Square. Which can be used as a clock divider multiplier. Step voltage, my favorite. But also a very nice addition with smooth voltages. Also very cool, and especially having 8 different phased out ones. Keep on this, I like this. Then using spread, you can speed up and slow down the rows. Some pretty extreme settings. And then we go back to red. My cat is hungry. So we'll stop here and come back later. Say hi, Lilou. Okay, so let's go for a patch from scratch thing, where I'm going to make a sequence, which is already made here on the René, and pass it down to one oscillator, then use this guy to process it. Actually, I'm just going to send it straight into it. Let's see what happens. Saw wave of oscillator 1, final of oscillator 2, both going to a separate channel mixer, external mixer. They're both tuned. Okay, less beating, that's good. This is the sequence. Let's send that straight to the multimod. I have things going on. I'm in the reverse read shape right now, so let's go to the red. Maybe you can clock it and see what happens. Seems good. Okay, Okay, so right now we have the same sequence playing on both. Starting to play with phase is starting to make some interesting things. Going to pan the two voices around a little bit. This is cool. Let's start to play with time now. See what happens if we don't clock it. This is completely unexpected, I love it. Let's clock it again. Clock it slowly. Bit of articulation. Make it sound a bit less like a bagpipe concert. Let's send some of these outputs to control. Add some more weird tracking from both sides for filters. This is my first try to use this on audio. I have a very simple Buchla bongo-esque thing going. Reverb you hear this guy. So this makes a pretty insane tap delay, but I mean really good. So in order to mix this, I used the multimix. The dry signal is going straight to the aux input, so it's always there at the output. Remove the LFOs that for later. So this is output 3. I'm modulating spread to change between two states using this channel of tempi. Phase was around noon. I love it because it gets into weird chorusy type of things. I have time quite fast. Fast is this way. And I love the crunchiness that happens when you push the time. And let's add another tap. Yeah, that's sometimes things take ages to get into motion. It does some wonderful waterfall drop B kind of thing when you modulate the time. You can freeze the buffer, which is pretty fun as well. And let it go again whenever you want. To make this patch even better, I'm going to use my mixing assistant, this guy. We will have the dry signal on this side. These two are still going to the mod mix. One channel of mat each to take care of their respective amplitude. This one's going to right and this one is going to left. Or the opposite because I mix the two always, all the time. Oh yeah. To get weird. You have reversed the delay. Awesome. Forward backward delay. And clicky madness ones. Of course, results will change depending on which output you take. That's awesome. Okay, here is a patch that is the best to show the real power of this thing. A very simple thing that gets crazy. The audio patch is quite intense. I've used the 6 outputs of the DPO, each into a VCA. One full mix is going to the left and one full mix is going to the right. Now back to the control section that includes the multimod. Here I have a gate. It triggers a short envelope of math, and that's what's going at the input of the multimod. So basically, at that moment, it is opening the 6 VCAs at the same time. But if I start to play with the phase, they are all open one after the other, sort of strummed. I'm using the end of rise, or I could have used that same clock to clock the multimod to make sure it happens when the envelope happens. I also have a sequence. But the funniest part is when you start to use the spread. Because now some envelopes get super short and some others get super long. On top of not happening at the same moment. Which gives our relatively simple 16-step sequence a lot of life. A very weird, and especially as it's panned, it's a very weird thing going on. And I like the fact that it's on the grid but not really as well. And you could, of course, start to modulate all this. I find that modulating phase does give you some sort of granular CV things. Let's make the envelope super short. Textures are quite fascinating. I'm going to make the envelope happen less often. Make it a bit longer. And one thing that I enjoyed quite a bit is to reverse it. Oh yeah. Still haven't tried to use that increment output that is made for the upcoming modules from the NUSS system. But you can still use it as a weird modulation source. Those who know the channel will not be surprised that I couldn't help myself and I've run a few breakbeats into it. Let me explain the patch. We have those breakbeats programmed with René in the Morphogene. A mono output to the multimod. One fun thing I thought about was to take two outputs, one to a left, one to a right, So when you start playing with the phase, you will get a mono to stereo signal. The phase is controlled like this. And the effect is different depending on which one you take. This does phase reset, but also gene size on the morphogene, or this kind of things. This one is modulating the spread. Always worth tapping here to reset the thing. I love this. Let's try to be a bit more subtle. As it's clocked, I have mapped. Should be the gate actually. The gate of this one to old, so I can do some proper tight freezing. There is no clock. It's quite interesting to modulate the time. It's quite extreme here, so let's attenuate it first. But as it's not clocked anymore, the old thing is not in perfect sync, but that's not necessarily a problem. It's crazy. When you use multimod as a delay, I will show you how to add a feedback control to it. Because basically what it is, when you use it like this, is a multi-tap, 8-tap delay. This is the breakbeat going through multimod. Let's mix both at the same time. When I press reset, we almost have flanging here. But what I want is feedback, as I said. So let me make the envelope on the breakbeat short. So as it's not meant has a delay. There's no feedback control on it. This is why I have duplicated one of the outputs. I'm going to send it here in the mod demix that I use as a mixer. So I have sent the breakbeat in here, controlling their amplitude. And the mix is going to the multimod. So what I do by sending this output back into it is creating feedback. So let's hear how it sounds. So this is without feedback. I find it to be a bit too gentle. This is why I have prepared in advance a version of this signal going to QPass. The input gain of QPass is higher than 1. So now I can have that kind of feedback soup that I like. Almost car plus strong E. And if you start to play with spread, turns into very weird stuff. One fun thing that I've enjoyed doing to clock the woggle bug and use that to control the amplitude of the feedback. The spread speed up and down is quite fun because as it's in the feedback loop, it gets repeated. It does that cascading pitch up or down thing. And as you have the 8 different taps, there's lots of different feedback possibilities. Especially if you start to modulate spread. Okay, let's talk again about that channel index output. I found a fun use for it, especially when the module is clocked. It's basically giving you a bonus step voltage output. So at the moment, phase and spread at 0. So basically every channel is high at the same time. So it gives us 2 states, on or off. But as soon as you start changing the phase and spread, Then you get a proper step voltage that is created by analyzing which channel is high at any given moment. This is created while I'm using the triangle shape, which means that I haven't patched any of the output yet. So these could be slowly evolving voltages, while this one is going to be a stepped one. Let's patch one to the shape parameter on the DPO. And another one to the mix of my echophone. And using the pressure point, I can control time and spread at the same time to get instant different results. If you change the clock rate, let's divide it by 4. Anyway, lots of weird stuff to be done. But I find that this output is actually quite useful. Many thanks for checking out this video. I hope this was interesting and or helpful. If you want to support the channel, you can go have a look at my Patreon page, where you can get some samples and some teaching. You can also buy some stuff from the affiliate links in the description, as well as checking out some music on Bandcamp, either on my page or on my label page, Concrete Collage. That's it. Thanks again for watching. Thanks Make Noise for making awesome modules, and see you next time. Bye bye.